Welcome back to our channel. I'm Mark.
I'm Amanda.
We quit our jobs in October in New York City, and we've been traveling the world for the past 4 months. We're currently in Australia. Today in this video, we want to share with you some of our biggest travel fails that the biggest mess ups that we've had so far in our 4 months. Okay guys, we're gonna bring you in because we want to be nice and personal because we don't want everyone to hear of the shit that we're ashamed of.
No, it's just a learning opportunity. We don't want you guys to make the same mistakes. I'll go first with one of the more recent big screw-ups. Just to kind of give you some background, in a lot of countries you need an onward ticket, just showing proof that you're not staying there, that you are actually leaving the country. We really wanted to try to get around this because we wanted to be in Australia for at least 90 days. We just didn't know exactly when we wanted to leave. And we had heard of people making fake itineraries. We didn't want to bother with that. So we got another tip from someone who said that they bought their ticket on Expedia and their policy is a free refund within the first 24 hours after purchasing the ticket. For coming to Australia, literally like hours before our flight, which again was a problem. We waited till the last minute. Before going to the airport, I went on Expedia super quick. I bought 2 tickets onward to Bali. We got to Australia. No one even asked to see an onward ticket, which is, I think, makes me more pissed about it.
No one even wanted to see. No one cared. They're just like, okay, you're here.
No. New Zealand, it was a completely different story. The next day, I had an alarm set. I didn't want to forget about it. So I went to Expedia, tried to cancel it, and it said I had to call. And they were like, sure, we can help you with that. It's free within the first 24 hours. But we have to call Virgin to see what their policy is. So they came back and said that they do not refund, but that they would give me a credit, and that was about $1,000. Yeah.
Is that Australian or New Zealand?
New Zealand.
So
$800.
$700 or $800
Yeah.
US.
And the tickets to Bali, like from Australia to Bali, are you can find some for like $150. Yeah, that was a royal mess up. So now we have $1,000 on Virgin that are good for a year, so I'm sure we'll use it.
So at least we didn't lose the money.
Yeah, but I still have to pay $80 to use to change the ticket.
So basically, Expedia has a 24-hour cancel policy, but make sure that the airline actually has a 24-hour canceling policy or refund policy, because if they don't, you're going to get screwed like we did. It's hit or miss with some of these countries. Sometimes you need the onward ticket, sometimes you don't. So you're probably better off being safe and having that ticket. When
we tried getting to New Zealand from Argentina, we spent about 4 hours just trying to get through because our onward ticket didn't have an e-ticket number. So have it just in case.
I like our little calendar back here. Is really cool. But it's a kind of pain in the ass because the camera keeps auto-focusing on Marilyn.
Oh.
Get out of here, Marilyn. Look at us. So number 2, this is probably our biggest failure. When we got to Australia, plan was to buy a camper van. We didn't find one immediately, and we didn't want to stick around Melbourne for too long, so we wanted to get out and explore and see the country. So what we did was this thing called vehicle transfer or relocation. We looked for any vehicle that needed to go from Melbourne to Adelaide. We found one through Brits. We had booked a 4-berth van, which is pretty big, but when we called, that had already been taken. So the guy was kind enough to upgrade us to the 6-berth van, which is a friggin' monster. It's huge. There was one stop we wanted to make on the way to Adelaide, and that was
the only one.
So we made one stop in the Grampians National Park. While we were in the park, we went off the shoulder a little bit and drove forward, and there was a tree like this.
It's more like rolled forward.
And the top of the camper van scraped the whole tree. Okay, so here's the scrape down. Sorry, it's blurry. Look at that shit. Oh God, it looks worse on camera. And there's a big scrape mark on it, and there's a little hole in the roof, probably the size of my fingernail, in the fiberglass. So a couple different things came into play here. When we booked the van, they offered us insurance because they were telling us about all the kangaroos, and basically you have to put a $1,000 bond down. Now if any damage happens, even the smallest ding, they take that $1,000. But if you buy the extra insurance, which you pay $20 a day for, and then if there's any damage done, the maximum they'll take out or they'll deduct is $250. That does not cover the roof, the overbody, or the undercarriage. We took that insurance. The other side of the story is her credit card comes with rental car insurance. But the issue with that is if you don't waive the insurance with the rental, her insurance through her credit card is null and void, so they won't cover any damages. Basically, we were screwed because the insurance on her credit card wouldn't cover that damage, and then the insurance that we purchased didn't cover the damage. So we called the rental company that night and let them know about the damage, showed up the next day. Amanda cried a little bit. We told them our story. They kept our $1,000, but we still haven't heard back from them. The van was sent off to a mechanic to assess how much damage would be done, and we are fully responsible for all the damage. Lesson learned there: if you're gonna rent a car, know if your credit card covers you and provides you insurance, because if it does, then make sure you waive the insurance. Just know that, and don't hit any damn trees.
Look out for those tree branches.
Ooh, look behind us. See our camper van?
We're so proud.
We came outside because it was getting too dark and it's just nice to get some fresh air. Those are our two biggest mistakes. There's been plenty numerous other ones.
Another fail was when we were in Peru and we got to Mancora at 4 in the morning on a bus. A, we didn't pay attention to how long the bus ride was going to be and we didn't know we'd be getting there at 4 in the morning. And B, we didn't have a hostel. We pretty much just sat around Mancora in the dark. We had no money.
And one of the cab drivers that drive in the, what the hell are those things called? Put a picture or something here. Came up to us and he was trying to give us a ride and we were like, no, we don't need one. Our hostel's right around here. And then he got kind of angry, rode away, and then he says, muerte. Muerto.
Yes, he did. I was like, does that
The
mean
fuck
die?
did he say death? Who's God? It was like a dark alleyways. Apparently there's some sketchy areas in Mancora.
Yeah.
And we had some big ass bags. Someone comes, I'm dropping this shit. I'm out of here in my flip flops.
I just remember that was one of the times where I was just like miserable and like the bag was so heavy and I was tired. At one point I was like laying on a bench just like waiting for the hostel to open so we
But
could
it's a
check
good
in.
story.
It is.
We made friends with like the stray dogs or the follow us around,
did,
remember?
yeah.
Sometimes it's cool to show up into a town and just have no plans.
Which we've done a lot, but maybe at like normal hours.
Yeah, so if you're gonna get somewhere in the middle of the night, make sure you have a hostel booked or some way to get there so you're not making yourself a target. Those are just like the perfect opportunities and you really want to minimize those.
Yes, yes, yes.
Last, I just want to quickly talk about, I guess it's kind of a regret, just the way it worked out as far as our timeline is. We didn't allot enough time for South America. We only had 2 months. The birds are loud as hell in here in Australia, by the way. 2 months to make it from Colombia all the way up here, all the way down to the middle of Argentina. Looking back on it, what I would do, maybe just limit that to Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. So wherever you're traveling to, instead of trying to see a shitload maybe, because you're just going to be on the go, you're going to get stressed out, you're going to get burned out from travel, you know, just pick out a couple places. I don't know, it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I don't really see that as a fail. It was like we really just squeezed in South America and it, you know, we made the best of it, but if we could do it again, we would definitely do it different.
So hopefully you guys found this video helpful and you learned something and
Don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, don't make those mistakes because you're gonna feel like an idiot. You're probably calling us idiots right now. Shit happens, and
life goes on.
Yeah, and we're still traveling.
Yeah.
You know, we're still having fun. We're still here making videos for you. Hopefully you guys are still watching them. A lot of shit happening. Still to happen. Make sure you hit this button down here, subscribe, leave us a comment, tell us about your biggest fails.
Yes.
Guys, don't be ashamed. You feel better once you get it off your chest. I feel so much better now. You know what though, we still haven't got the damages. So it could be, this trip could be over now actually. We might have just bought a new RV in Australia.
It's ridiculous.
And we will see you in our next video.
Bye.
We'll leave you with the van. Just a peek. Yeah, I'll show you the front.